So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check it because the stat cap is 2,400, right? 24,000. So if you look at your gear here, yeah, 24,000. None of your gear is affected. Like your stats are not affected at all. Like you have full all of your stat bonuses and so forth. But as soon as I switch out gear, like I don't know, we'll go. I know this will put me over. Oh, so a second. All right. Uh-huh. Yeah. So if right. So now that I'm above the cap, right? This is the stupid thing, right? Right. I'm above the cap by like about 100 points. But because I'm above the cap by 100 points, yeah, all my gear is basically freaking scaled down to whatever it is. Like, it's just horrible. It's like it's just crazy. Um, Pretty much, yeah, yeah. Like my see the 15 radiant champ is now at 2,200. The black ice enchantment is lowered, and all these stats are just basically decreased because I'm supposed to be getting like the full benefit of the stuff. But because I just went over the cap, it scaled me down to 24,000. So my stats are actually less than they were before. I was at 161, right? 161k. But now I'm at 157k, which is ridiculous. This is like I couldn't tell you, man. It's like it's absolutely insane. I mean, the stat caps, the stat caps need to be the stat caps need to be redone somehow because this is just ridiculous, man. If I'm underneath that 24,000, you know, it's like I could go ahead and min max and do the whole ordeal. But once I go ahead and go above it, I'm nerfed. So the only way all right, the way they have it set up is kind of ridiculous to me because like if I'm in here and I'm just below it with the right gear, I'm gonna go ahead and out DPS somebody that has the new gear that's over the cap, right? So unless the person's running completely in-game gear, you know, it's basically like, oh, just continue to be a piddly ass moron who has the pre mid game stuff for the zone. Instead of saying, you know what, you got the new gear. If we're gonna go ahead and scale you, let's scale you by the percentage in difference. Like right now, if you're over like a hundred points over the cap, I mean that's less than 1%. So you should be scaled down by 1% of the bonuses that you have, because right now what they're doing with scaling is just basically it's like the rich and the poor, right? There's no, and then you got the middle class, right? I'm middle class, supposedly in this game. So if somebody that's poor, that's basically brand new to the game, that wants to become ultra powerful, gets into the new zone and they get the new gear, they're happy because their stats have actually increased for just the regular game day-to-day play. But as soon as they go into a zone like LOM or the layer last match mage or for God forbid like Dread Ring, their scales so hard that all their stats tank. That the only way that they can benefit from their stats is if they're just near it, or not over it. So you got somebody that's going to the layer of the match maze that just got the new gear and they just broke 24,000. As soon as they come in here, instead of running the 160 or the 150 gear that they've managed to go ahead and accumulate, they're going to be scaled down because of their item level to something like 120, 130, or in my case, I went from 161 to 157 when I'm using the stuff like the Trobriand's Ring and the Howlaster, which is 6,000 power right there. And the other one I had, which is also, stats like accuracy and so forth, those are scaled down to go ahead and barely make me meet the minimum requirements. I'm not doing as much damage as I was. I mean, I might as well have just continued to wear the undermountain gear from when we started mod 17 and 16 or so forth, and just go ahead and go with that. As soon as you go ahead and put on a new gear and break that 24,000 limit, you're pretty much just worthless in this zone again. So they definitely need to fix that somehow. And of course, it's like the only people that actually benefit with the new gear on are people that have like the rank 15 radiance, the rank 15 enchantments, and it doesn't really affect it. They got the Lionheart, so even though they go from 200,000 power, they're only going to like maybe 280, or I'm sorry, 180 power with all their stats still max and so forth, and because they're benefiting from all their gear. So anywhere for the people that go from 24,000 gear all the way to the new 28,000 mark, people in between those are just they're just basically getting raked over the coals. So they need to definitely do something about the scaling issue. I mean, just 1 point over the mark screws over somebody that's just barely trying to go ahead and start playing the game. And unless you're constantly keeping an eye on this and min-maxing in certain zones, it's just like new players are at a disadvantage in every possible way because they don't have the time to go ahead and research everything like I do. So that's pretty crazy. I don't know, but yeah, I was checking this out the other day and I was thinking, you know what? Let me see what happens if I stay under the cap, and what happens when I go ahead and switch one item in itself and see how that affects me. So when I did that, look again. It's like as soon as I switched one item, it just totally like raked me over the coals. I went from 161k to 157, and it's just like I don't know. I just don't know. I hope somehow they could go ahead and take a look at it and fix it. But that's a long cry. But yeah, I wanted to do this before I go ahead and switch out again. I'll be back.